Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain, where we drink copious amounts of coffee, read books, and we talk about them. And that's what we're doing today. So today we are actually reviewing a new book coming out on February 20th called A Tempest of Tea by Hafsah Faizal. And I was able to get a copy of this book through NetGalley and through Macmillan Audio and Macmillan Young Listeners. So thank you so much for NetGalley and to the publishers for allowing me the opportunity to read and listen and review this book in order to provide my honest review for the audience. And so I would like to tell you guys a little bit about this book that I had so much fun with. And I do want to say it came out of nowhere for me. I saw the cover and I was really instantly drawn to it because you see this girl in a page boy cap with her curls curling around her face. And I think that's what my hair would probably look like if I threw a page boy cap on. And holding a cup of tea with like wisp of smoke and a cityscape kind of like throughout the like picture. But anyway, really cool cover. So the cover is what really sold me. Then I read the description. Let's see. So, from New York Times bestselling author of We Hunt the Flame comes the first audiobook in a hotly anticipated fantasy duology teeming with romance and revenge. Led by an orphan girl willing to do whatever it takes to save her self-made kingdom. So that is just the brief description that is on the NetGalley. Also, I do want to give you a little bit of the Goodreads summary. Now, the summary is going to be the same on NetGalley as well as Goodreads, but you're able to go and read this if you would like, and give it a listen if you want, or go out and pick up the paperback or hardback whenever it releases on February 20th. I think it's well worth the read. But on the streets of White Roaring, Arthi Casimir is a criminal mastermind and collector of secrets. Her prestigious tea room transforms into an illegal bloodhouse by dark, catering to the vampires feared by society. But when her establishment is threatened, Arthi is forced to strike an unlikely deal with an alluring adversary to save it, and she can't do the job alone. Calling upon a band of misfits, Arthi formulates a plan to infiltrate the dark and glittering vampire society known as the Aetherium. Aetherium. I think it's Aetherium. Yeah, Aetherium. But not every member of her crew is on her side, and as the truth behind the heist unfolds, Arthi finds herself in the midst of a conspiracy that will threaten the world as she knows it. Dark, action-packed, and swoon-worthy, this Hafsah Faizal is better than ever. So, that is the summary that I am reading to you. That is not my words. This is the first of a duology of Blood and Tea. And again, the author is Hafsah Faizal. And it looks like I can't guarantee how long the audiobook was. I could probably find it on my tablet that I've got my NetGalley account on, but I do know that it looks like the hardback is about 350 pages and it goes really quickly. Now, this is what I would call a heist book. We are getting a band of people together in order to conduct a heist and to get a certain piece of property from somebody in a high power. We are using all the leverage that we possibly can. We are running around. We are jumping on scaffolding. We are avoiding bombs. Buildings are falling on us. All those sorts of fun things. Now, it does say here under genre that it's young adult. I would almost kind of hesitate to say it's young adult, but I guess I can see where it could be, because I did see that it was under Macmillan Young Listeners, but I'm not sure teen YA is where I would really put it. There are a couple of bits in there that I probably thought were a little bit more adult themed, but honestly, you know what? Doesn't change my rating. I definitely give this 4.5 stars. And when it comes to giving it a review on both NetGalley and Goodreads, I will probably go ahead and give it 5 because I don't want to knock it down to 4. Because for me, A 4-star book is a book that is good. It kept my attention, but I'm probably not going to really recommend it. And a 5-star is like perfect, chef's kiss. You know, I actually found a lot of Brandon Sanderson to be 5-star chef's kiss. But anyway, there's a couple authors out there that I really like. This one is not perfect. I can't wait to get to the second book in the duology. I don't know when it's going to come out, but I think it's going to be great. And I think they leave us kind of in a really great place to want to know more. Honestly, did not read the description before I even requested this book on NetGalley. Kind of glad I didn't. Only because I love being surprised. I am usually not the type of person to read spoilers. I don't enjoy watching trailers for movies prior to the release of the movie. I love going into an experience completely open and not with any expectations. So that is what I kind of did with this book. Is I looked at the cover, I was like, that cover is for me. I'm so feeling this cover. I am reading it. So I didn't even really link the vampires until like later on when I'm actually when I have dove into this book. When I dove into this book and started getting my way through it, that's when I realized, I was like, ooh, we got paranormal, we've got vampires going. I am loving this. So definitely want to put that out there that if you enjoy vampires, this might be a good one for you. I also want to give a shout out to my podcast that I want. It is called Books Are Magical. I want to be talking to my girls on Books Are Magical to see if they would be interested in maybe doing the first book of this duology or maybe both books of this duology with me on an episode or two. I thought it was well worth the read, well worth the listen, and it's kind of Peaky Blinders meets heist meets vampires, and honestly, super fun. So throwing that out there, you've got orphaned Arthie, you've got her best friend, and I can't wait for you all to kind of like find out more about this book. But man, I don't want to tell you too much because it's not out yet. And that's the only reason I'm kind of like holding my tongue a little bit, is when it comes to this particular type of book, I absolutely feel as though it could have gone in so many directions. I love a great heist book. I love like the mystery, the intrigue, the investigation that comes into it and how they plan it out. I love the various characters. We've got Arthie's brother, they adopted sibling. They adopted each other. Jen. You've got Flick, who's kind of a member of like the aristocratic government, but she's kind of like forgone that sort of thing. You've got Mateo. Sorry about that. And Laith. So there are quite a few characters going on throughout this book, and each of them bring their own level of intrigue to the story. So highly recommend this, but that's where I'm kind of wondering if I really consider this to be a YA book. And that was another reason I kind of took to Goodreads, because I was not expecting so much kind of adult theming in what I would consider like what was kind of purported to be a teen YA read. And that was another part, is that the tension between, somebody else says, quote unquote, the tension between them is so high, I actually wondered for a while if this book is as YA as I thought. So this is not, I'm just going to say, this is like, it's not my own, like, I'm not the only one. I do think that it could ride that fine line, so just kind of be aware. I feel like anything with vampires could always be a little racy, possibly, but this is definitely, in my personal opinion, better than Twilight. Just gonna throw that out there. I like the vampires better. I like the way they're presented better, and I like the way they wrote the story. Anything in kind of that time period of like what I said, that Peaky Blinders sort of time period. We've got a very steampunkish sort of vibe. You've got a very gritty London with its underground happening. You've got the upper crust and the lower levels, and you don't really have a lot of people in between. There's a very black and white line of margins of like differentiation. And so I really liked it. I want to say I probably listened to it in about 2 days, and I don't think that's saying a lot. I probably consume books very, very quickly. So just kind of throwing that out there, that when I say 2 days for me, it's probably because I listen to it nonstop with earbuds and stuff in, because I love to like get my brain in there and just dive straight in. That is one of my favorites. Now, story-wise, I like the story. Arthie and Jen are both, they run a tea shop, and they are trying to save it because the landlord is trying to kind of more or less kick them out. And maybe it's not so much the landlord, but there is kind of a ruling party of the city that has targeted them for like, I guess, nefarious purposes. There's some reason that the Ram wants them to be shut down, and it's probably because they do have this sort of underground, they cater to the dark side of society and culture, so they want to try to remove that from their city. But Arthie and Jen, they love their tea shop. Not only do they love tea, because throughout the book they are reading tea, they also, like, it gives them a home, because neither one of them, Jen lost his family when he was very young due to a fire, and we learned that, so that's not a spoiler. And we also learn that Arthie has come to the shores of London, or come to the shores of White Roaring, without a family, that her family has passed as well. So they both find family in each other, and then they have this tea shop, which is not only just a tea shop, but it's also a source of information, where they're able to gather information and a little bit of blackmail from the people who come to patron their shop. But when their livelihood and their home is threatened, they take it upon themselves to try to figure out a plan, with the help of their friends or people that they've met along the way, to try to, I guess, stave it off, try to save their home, try to protect themselves. And yeah, I honestly, I think it was so well worth the read. So definitely, absolutely loved it. Can't wait for the second book in this series. Again, this book is A Tempest of Tea by Hafsah Faizal. It releases February 20th, and it is book 1 of the Blood and Tea duology, and I hope you all will give it a chance. I'm going to put a picture probably somewhere over here, and we will hopefully let you see this on the shelf of your next local bookstore, probably, or wherever you get your books, whether it be audio or what have you. I hope you will give it a listen. I hope you will give it a chance, and leave your comments down below. Do you have a favorite vampire that you have run across in pop culture or social media or what have you? Who is your favorite vampire? Put them down below. I want to know. Who do you love as a vampire? I mean, I'm kind of feeling Blade personally. Like, Blade was always one of my favorites. He's like, what is he? Like a daywalker, I think is what it is kind of his term. He's half vampire, which I love. So, and plus he kicks a lot of butt, and that whole like first movie, so great. I loved it. I know it's a comic book series, or it's a graphic novel series. I never read that, but I do know that I believe it came from, did it come from DC Vertigo, Dark Horse Comics? I'm not sure. But anyway, Blade would be mine if I were to leave a comment down below, but I would love to know your thoughts as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, I will see you all on the next page. Have a great one. Bye.